everyone. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Midnight Feast, the new mystery novel by Lucy Foley. This is going to be spoiler free, so feel free to watch if you haven't read the book yet. Lucy Foley structures all of her mystery novels the same way in that there are a bunch of perspectives and each perspective is from a kind of archetypal character. So in this book, they are the founder, the husband, the mystery guest, and the kitchen help. So each chapter is from a different person's perspective, and let me say that some of them in this book are really insufferable. This book takes place in the south of England, and one of our main characters has just started this kind of vacation resort wellness center for ultra rich people, and the book takes place over the opening weekend of this resort called the Manor. And in the synopsis you kind of learn that on Sunday of this weekend the police are called, there's been a fire, and there's at least one dead person. So she is the founder, and then we have the perspective from her husband, a guest that we don't really know much about but we learn who exactly she is, and then someone who works in the kitchens and actually lives nearby on a farm. He's one of the locals. This book has a lot of class tensions because this wealthy woman is coming into this place with a lot of local people whose families have been living in this small English, it's not really a village, but this area in the south of England for hundreds and hundreds of years, and she's kind of upending all of these really old trees, and there's a lot of pushback from the local community. There's also a lot about local legends and folk tales. There's some creepy stuff with birds, so if that interests you, there's definitely a bit of creepiness in this mystery novel. You kind of don't know if there's going to be a supernatural element or what, but I'd say this one definitely has more spookiness than some of her other books. And we actually are learning about something that happened on this property in the past through diary entries. I won't give you too much info about that, but I really loved the past through the diary entries. That was my favorite part of the book. I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. For context, I gave The Guest List by Lucy Foley 5 stars. The Paris Apartment was 3.5 stars, but I think realistically it was more of a 3. And then The Hunting Party was also a 3. So I'd say that this is my second favorite book of hers. If you are an audiobook reader, I would highly recommend listening to the audiobooks because her audiobooks usually have a full cast and there's different accents, and especially with the English people, there's different accents to indicate class, and I think that it would have been really nice to listen to this on audio. Something that I think a lot of people will really hate is how insufferable the founder of this resort is. She is absolutely the worst. You just absolutely hate everything about her inner dialogue and how rich and stupid she is and all of this fake wellness stuff that she buys into, and how incredibly privileged and annoying she is. Obviously that's very intentional, but I can definitely see people DNFing the books because they're just so irritated in having to be in her head. Another complaint that I have about this book is that I thought some of the reveals and twists were quite similar to each other, and if you're doing the same type of reveal several times, obviously how surprised can the reader get, because it's repetitive at that point and they're kind of expecting it. It's not new. So I didn't feel like this book had the most twists and turns. I don't think it's necessarily pulling that off, but I think the way that the past and the present come together was really, really fascinating, and I think that is kind of why this book got a 3.5 rather than a lower rating. But I don't think many people are going to be complimenting the reveals and the twists. Like I said, I think a big strength of this book is the connection to the local lore and the conflict between the locals and some of the wealthier people that have property here and vacation there or are building these fancy businesses. I don't know if you could call that gentrification, but that's kind of the vibe. Overall, I think this is a really good pick for a summer read. The weekend takes place over a heat wave, and so it's very hot and sweaty, and so if you're reading this in the summer and you want that vibe, I think this is a really good pick. I can definitely see people hating this, see some people loving this, and I definitely enjoyed it, but it wasn't an incredible blew my mind kind of thriller mystery book, but that's okay. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more bookish content from me, and I hope you have a lovely week.